tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes. That's us. And we rule. Tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes. That's us. And we rule. Tunnel snakes rule.
Jews digging tunnels. So, let me put this in reverse, actually. Oh, wait, no. This isn't it. Hold up. There's a tweet that I have somewhere. This guy. Okay, so this guy. This poor man, Richard Schroche on X says, I swear I keep hearing Yiddish under the floors in my New York apartment. I live on ground level and we have no basement. I'm not crazy. There are Jews living under my apartment. I hear them like it's digging or something. For the record, I live at ground level. We do not have a basement. Now, this man is obviously crazy. Obviously, there's not tunnel rat Jews digging a basement under his apartment building. That is completely insane. There is no way that's happening. Except it was happening. The Jews are digging tunnels under New York City. How? Why? For what reason? What nefarious purpose are the Jews digging tunnels? But they are. And nobody knows why. Nobody understands why. So there is a famous building in Manhattan called the Chabad. Chabad's iconic headquarters. So the Chabad are like a weird sect of Judaism. They're called Messianic Jews. So if you don't know, Christians started out as a form of Messianic Jew, where they believed that Jesus was the Messiah that was prophesied in the Torah. However, Jesus is not the only Messiah that has come around. People believe that Bar Kokhba, who led the revolts against Emperor Hadrian and the Roman Empire, and who was massacred and resulted in the diaspora of Jewish people across the world. Some people believed at the time that he was the Messiah. But also these guys in the Chabad headquarters in Manhattan believe that some guy like in the 80s was the Messiah. So they believe that site that they're at is very holy. And the Messiah told them to expand his headquarters and make the Chabad bigger. And so the explanation being given is that they literally have decided to expand his headquarters by digging tunnels underneath of their headquarters and around the block and stuff. Very strange, very strange. Menachem Schneerson, which is a very weird name, and it's very close to Menachem Sneedson, which would be much funnier. But he is apparently the Messiah to these people who are very Orthodox, and New York State has discovered that these Jews is digging tunnels and shit, and they don't know what the fuck is happening. They just know that is against the civic policies of the city, and they're filling in the fucking tunnels. But the Jews are not having it. They are pissed. So let's see it. This is a tunnel that one of the entrances was behind wood paneling inside the Chabad. Oh my God. Dude, it's so scary. This anti-Semitism. These police are roughhousing these poor Jewish men in broad fucking daylight. These fucking Gestapo, Stasi motherfuckers, goose-stepping around the streets of New York, oppressing Jews in broad. I can't believe it. We need to do something about New York City. It's become the sports palace. Okay. I'm not sure why they're getting arrested for. I think they don't want the tunnel open. I think, is this the one where the guy's climbing out of the sewer? They're like escaping from the tunnel because the police have invaded it. I don't know what this one. I haven't watched through all these yet. There's like protests going on. All the Jews are really pissed off that the Goyim are shutting down their tunnels. Where's the one of the guy escaping the tunnel? You can see the riots and stuff, the confrontation. Oh, this guy. Here he is. Hey, Rabbi, what you doing? Why are you climbing out of the sewers? What are you doing? No. Back to Israel I go. Bye-bye. This is them welding that gate shut, by the way.
I'm dead.
You can hear them crying?
I'm dead.
Yeah, they're crying because their poor innocent tunnel is being filled in. One of them, is this the one where there's a very specific one, and if I can't find it, I'm gonna have to find it. The bed. If you know, you know. If you know, don't spoil chat. This guy's arrested. They're really they're pissed. No, you will not fill in my tunnels, Goyim. Don't you wish you were Jewish so you could participate in these shenaniganeries? Okay, listen, if I was in New York City, I would join the Tunnel Jews, because that's fun. Give me a pickaxe. I'm gonna go diggy hole. I'm gonna diggy hole while playing diggy hole, while digging a hole. Where? I was just reminded of this, hold up.
Tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes. That's us. And we rule. Tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes. That's us. And we rule. Tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes. That's us. And we rule. Tunnels.
You know, tunnel snakes rule sounds a lot like Jews rock. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of a connection. There's a mental wiring happening between these two concepts. I don't know. That could just be me. Where the fuck is the mattress is what I don't know. One of these has to be the mattress. Wait, let's skip ahead because I think someone points it out. And my site's loading sneedy enough that I might be able to get away with it. So I can find a picture. Aha! It's on Reddit, of course. My first instinct, of course, should have been to go to Reddit. Oh, it's on New York City. It has 600. Oh, fuck you. You can't use a VPN. Hoffman can't send you advertisements if you use a VPN. We're just a poor little innocent startup company. We can't afford to not show you advertisements. You gotta use a VPN. Kill a VPN. This Reddit that has a picture of a stained mattress from a tunnel snake tunnel is asking me to get vaxxed. No, New York City subreddit. I don't think I will. Okay, listen. They pulled this out of the tunnel. You tell me, chat, why is this blood-stained mattress getting pulled out of a tunnel snake tunnel? Huh? Explain to me this. What possible use for a blood-stained mattress would these nice Jewish men have in their tunnels? Like they're rushing that out. The tunnel's going to get filled in, but they're getting ahead of the controversy and pulling out the blood-stained What an interesting spot for that stain, too. Imagine if you're laying on a bed, right? And there's that stain. What part of the body would that be coming out of? It's either your head or your crotch, right? Am I wrong? Because it's at the if you're sitting midway through, there's one of two ways. Like if your butt is on the edge of the bed for some reason, if your legs were hanging off the bed and your position at the end of the mattress, then your crotch would be there. Or if you're laying down and that's where your head was, then that would also be where the blood is. It's just weird. Just weird. This bloodstained mattress from this Jewish tunnel. I wonder what it's for. Maybe. Okay. Alternative idea. The Jews are digging tunnels to help end the homelessness crisis in New York City. And the reason why it's stained is that a lot of the people sleeping there just have really poor hygiene. And sometimes, get stained with like hair grease. Maybe it's like shit from their ears. But it's just stained because that's where the homeless are sleeping that they're taking care of. Because it's a nonprofit type thing. They can't, either that or it's a rape dungeon. So that's retarded, Rape dungeons are an anti-Semitic conspiracy. Unlike Jewish tunnels under New York City, which are not an anti-Semitic conspiracy. That's actually real. There are those strange. Baby blood. It could be. It could just be nice, healthy, wholesome circumcisions that are happening on that mattress. Which is a completely legal thing. By the way, okay, so if you are a New Yorker, heaven help you. Guess what? You are in a Jewish house. You literally live, if you live in Manhattan, you live in a Jewish house.
Of creating holy space.
Wait, wrong browser, sorry.
The idea of creating holy space is really an idea that people generally appreciate today. One of the prohibited activities on the Sabbath is something called carrying. The rabbis realized the difficulty in enjoying the Sabbath if you weren't allowed to carry outside of the house. And therefore they created a construct in which the area in which the Jews lived was enclosed first by a wall or a fence, and then eventually by a symbolic wall or fence, which was created by setting up two poles and a string on the top of the two poles. And that imaginary wall served to religiously enclose the neighborhood and to allow Jews to carry within that neighborhood. What's amazing is that in 1970, there were under 10 Eruv.
I want to show you the map.
In all of North. Eruv on the Upper West Side is now the Eruv that
this
encloses almost all of Manhattan from.
This area of Manhattan is, by their laws, a Jewish home. It is encircled in the transparent fish line Eruv. And according to rabbinical texts, this is their actual home, and therefore they're allowed to carry things in this area because it's where they live. So if you live in this area, you live in a Jewish house by what this man just said. I don't know why that one part is cut out. It might be like an industrial sector. Maybe that's where all the black people live, so they don't want them. They're like, fuck it, draw a line around them. I'm not familiar with the demographics of New York City, so I'm not sure what's in that little area, but very interesting. I appreciate. This is why Jews are really, really good at law, by the way, because the Torah is a very small book. It's it's the definitive word of God in the Jewish religion. So, and it's a very strict set of rules. There is no forgiveness, right? There's no grace. So if you want to be Jewish, you have to follow the rules. Well, it's a short book and it contains every rule you have to follow. But then there's caveats and you wonder, well, it says I can't carry, but can I carry like in a fenced area? Enter the other books of Judaism, like the Talmud. There are several books like this that are a part of the Jewish expanded universe that explain the rules a little bit better. And the rules are effectively debated in a legalistic way. It's sort of all these books that are like writers to the Torah are like case law in Jewish rabbinical law. And they explain all the nitty gritty and the very precise rules. So you wonder why they're such proficient lawyers. It's because they're raised on a religion from birth that is effectively just a series of 4,000-year-old case law books about how to follow the Torah. And if you live in Manhattan, you live in a Jewish home, just so you know. You're also living above their tunnels. And there might be a circumcision happening under you at any time. Cool. Okay, tranny stuff, I think. Oh, okay, so this is my natural segue. We're going to explore this together. I have this queued up, but I don't know it exactly off the top of my head. This guy is named Kayla or Pranavi Kalavtama Lorai, or Jacob Lorai. He's a tranny, and he's digging a tunnel illegally. Under his home, he has been digging tunnels, and the government, this local city governance, is very upset about this. Let's watch some of these videos.
It's just been over a year since I started building my underground tunnel system. This is a 1-year recap. In August of 22, I cut an opening off the side of the sub-basement and started to carve into the solid rock. Fabricated an elevator to lift material. 1,000 pounds at a time. As the entrance tunnel stretched longer and deeper, I bought an electric yard cart and converted it into a mine cart. I used hundreds of concrete blocks and yards of hand-mixed concrete for the 30-foot entrance tunnel. As it got deeper underground, I ran into a lot of groundwater and a spring which made work harder and required constant pumping. Eventually, I set up a sump basin and a pump which is keeping the system dry.
Oh, he hit an aquifer. Those are difficult to deal with. You usually have to pour lava into it, and then you can dig through the granite that forms to get underneath the aquifer. It's very difficult, and you have to find pump stone to make parts with that are lava proof.
Set up a blower and air duct for ventilation. The main chamber is 22 feet below ground, and I set up rebar lattice work and a steel form to pour concrete with a trailer pump. One of the forms failed, and the concrete bulge needed to be removed, which is affectionately called the elephant's foot. There is still a lot of work left to do, but I am having a blast and enjoying sharing this project with you.
Prediction. This cable collapse. The government will have to pay millions of dollars and usher in a massive rescue team to try and save this person from their own tunnel. They will fail. This person will suffocate tragically under a mountain of rubble that they created using their Section 8 housing and tax credits instead of working a job. Then, an online news site will publish a timeline of the events. An internet historian will steal this carte blanche and make a video about the collapse and this person's suffocation. And then I will chastise him for plagiarism in the future, and that will piss off a bunch of my fans again. This is the future. This is an unavoidable timeline of events. Let's see more. Okay, so that's the general project. This is
my vegetable garden. It's been a bountiful year, not for vegetables, but for weeds. I have a small clump of strawberries and something that's supposed to be a trumpet vine, but I'm thinking it might be something else, and a foxglove, and a little bit of ragweed.
So why do you call it a vegetable garden if you didn't grow anything?
Love the smell of ragweed.
Oh my god, dude, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Most importantly is
the bald spot. Oh, that's tragic,
this
bro.
English ivy. It comes from my grandmother's backyard, which was overrun with the stuff years ago. I played in the ivy when I was a child, and during Easter she would hide plastic eggs with candy under the dense foliage. Unfortunately, she hated the ivy and spent years eradicating it. I dug up the very last shoot from her yard and brought it here, and now it's spreading.
The destruction of my ivy was one of the most traumatic events of my childhood. My grandmother was a Baptist, a Southern Baptist, and she hated gays and homosexuals. And when she caught me in my sister's dress, she made me put my hand in scalding hot water and beat me vigorously. But now she's dead, and I have inherited her house and have let ivy overtake her vegetable garden and are now digging a complicated tunnel system under her house so that I might find her grave and near her remains, and then I will have the last laugh. Fuck you, Grandma. I have cracked the code. A castle? Man, he really does think this is Minecraft.
I love castles, especially medieval ones, but also Victorian Gothic Revival country homes. One day I am going to construct one with stone walls, battlements, catacombs, alligator-filled moat, and a rusty drawbridge. I don't really have enough space in my small suburban plot, but that does not mean I can't build with stone. This foundation wall will eventually support a real stone wall, built with the stone that I'm quarrying out from my secret tunnel system. I hate veneer rock walls. In fact, I abhor veneer anything. It is inauthentic, temporary, tacky, poor, nasty.
How can he afford this? Your taxes! Your taxes!
Listen, you fuckers, you screwheads. Here is a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the cunts, the dogs, the filth, the shit. Here is someone who stood up.
Taxes are strong-arm robbery! The collectors of taxes funnel the majority of funds to policies and institutions counterproductive of spiritual advancement! Well, taxes are stealing and taking the feeling that we're getting fucked in the ass! They take what they want to, whenever they want to, and on these they always come last! They lie! They cheat! They steal from you and me!
Good timing. Cool. One more. Actually, I'm enjoying the tunnel tranny. Yeah, I'm gonna feature this. Can I feature this? That's a good tagline, right? And Kayla the tunnel tranny. Okay, one more.
This is a problem. I've developed a nice automated process for removing rock from my tunnel system. Using this Landworks minecart, I am able to dump material directly into an elevator skip that I designed, but there is a constraint. I can only rent a dumpster for 2 weeks before accruing a daily surcharge. I cannot mine that fast. It is laborious to break through rock, and it takes 3 weeks or more to extract a full 10 cubic yards. So I end up staging the rock in my basement. This pile is 6 feet tall and contains 8 cubic yards. I am not complaining because there is nothing more rewarding than transferring rock from the pile to the chute. It feels like working in an old assembly line.
There is nothing more rewarding than transferring rock from a pile to a chute. Changed my mind. TTD, we're doing away with it. TTWC, Total Tranny Work Camps. This is a more ethical, a more humane solution. We take the trannies, we put them into quarries, we have them mine bauxite, chat. This is how we're going to save the future for everybody. Tunnel collapse or rock pile collapse, which will kill him. The tunnel collapse for sure. So I've already called it. I've already prognosticated the outcome of this. Okay, I have to know what this is. Apparently, he thinks his house is haunted. I guess because Grandma still scalds him in his nightmares. So I have to know what this is about. He's got a really creepy
My
face.
house has 2 haunted areas. One is this troubled bedroom, and the second is this normal-looking closet. This video is about the closet. Originally, it had a reversed knob that can only be opened from the outside without a key. That detail is important. Oddly, I was not able to view the bedroom with that closet before buying the house, and it was still locked during the home inspection. I felt some suspicion, but after closing, everything seemed fine, and I rented it to a student who I had known for some time.
When I see trannies, it took me a second because I realized that the screeching and metal grinding noise that I was hearing in my head was not the normal fight or flight instinct that I get when I see a troon. This is actually, in case you're watching and you're confused, that noise is not coming from inside your head as per usual. That's actually added as an effect in the video.
One afternoon, one I will never forget, I was upstairs cooking with a few roommates and we heard a muffled pounding sound from downstairs. It was barely audible, but we went to check the student's room where the sound was coming from, and the door was locked. The lock was easy to open with a pin, but the room was empty. A moment of silence was broken by renewed racket from inside the closet. I unlocked the closet, and she came tumbling out. The horror in her eyes shook me. She said that the door slammed and locked by itself. After that day, she was a changed person. She stopped coming out of her room at all, unless during the night to pilfer some food from the kitchen. She wouldn't answer the door and stopped paying rent. Occasionally we would see her scurry into the room after we returned home from an outing. She looked thin and frail. After a few months, we stopped observing her presence. I was worried and entered her room. She was gone, and all her stuff was gone as well. I never heard from her again. Years later, one of my friends who stayed in the same room had a recurring dream of children being sucked into the closet by a dark force. In one, she was holding the child with all her might and repeatedly chanting a prayer. She woke up still chanting. At the time, she did not know about the earlier incident.
The inverse of this is like, woo, wait, is there like a spooky... let's see. Royalty-free spooky ambience. Horror ambience, Freeberg. Okay. I had just come from New Delhi and I did not have much money. I found a room to rent on Airbnb. I started my studies and was failing all of my classes because my professor was a racist white man and did not like Indians. While I was living in my room, I would hear clanking sounds from the basement. I realized that the homeowner was digging a tunnel under the house. Children would come into the house and I would never see them again. She always assured me that they were fine and there was nothing to worry about or to call the police about. Then, one day, I walk in on the lady of the house on accident and I see that he is naked and has a penis. And I gasped and screamed. I had never seen a lady with a penis before. After that day, things were never the same again. He would sexually harass me and try to tell me that he would like to taste curry from my butt crack. It scared me so much, I never left my room. I would try to sneak food out at night, but then I realized that he knew I was doing this, so I just stayed in my room. And then I became very thin as I stopped eating. I asked my parents to book a flight back, and they did, and I left, never to return to America again. That's the other side. That's how this went down on the on the on the reverse, on the flip side. It's like this really happened. But then it was phone. Oh my god! There was somebody on the phone who was phone. It was a tranny. It was a tranny minor. He had dug all the way to Manhattan and linked. That would be a really awkward meetup. Like they're digging, and then he's like suddenly he connects to the Orthodox Jewish tunnels, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he like, "Rabbi, why do you have that small child with you?" And then the rabbi would be like, "Machim, why do you have a small child with you?" And then they would they would take a second, they'd be stunned. There'd be really lots of tension in the air, and then they would just start laughing and realizing that they were both raping kids. It was a really wholesome moment. Cool.